All right, welcome back. Still sitting here with Jermaine, Raymond, and G. We're just gonna go touching on some defense. I think my biggest harp on the defense again is just, I mean, A&M has just kind of been a reoccurring theme. You know, big play after big play. Christian Kirk with the 100-yard kickoff return, and Kellen Mond had another 80-yard run, and there was another 50-yard reception. It was just, I think going into the game, Arkansas was the only FBS school without having I guess a big play of over 30 yards, and then it was just like the freaking barn doors open up. So I'm just gonna let House get after it on this one.
Well, I mean, just to your point, I kind of figured that there would be a conservative approach to how they were going to call plays from a defensive perspective because they knowing and understanding they knew they had an athletic quarterback they were playing against, so you're trying to do your best to keep them in front of them, right? And here's the thing, I'm okay with a conservative defensive play call.
So when you say conservative, are you saying like bend don't break kind of conservative?
Well, so you're not. I mean, yes.
Okay.
Well, to the point where you're willing to concede short yardage situations as long as and you're just waiting for them to make the mistake of trying to go deep and they don't get it.
Especially with your true freshman quarterback.
Right, so, but the problem is that they conceded the short yardages, but then they give a big play, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you can't. It's got to be one or the other, right? Because you either have to be so disruptive that they can't make big plays. So it's either going to be a big play or nothing. You can't give up both to where because you let that offense get in the rhythm and start having some continuity. They feel like they can do whatever they want to do.
Our first big play we gave up was that Richardson. I think we were in zone, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Whose fault was that?
Well, so here's the thing. So what happened? So I'm assuming we're talking. Was that Kirk that they got open?
That was the Kirk. Yeah, that was
So what happened in that case?
Crossing route, I believe.
Yes.
In zone, quarterback scrambles, comes to the outside,
and you break.
You got two guys that break off their coverage to try to come up and make the
right.
And then you let their best receiver get behind the coverage, right? Mm-hmm. That's the issue with zone because there's always that assumption that the other guy has it, right? Because you're playing a space,
area,
and what happens when you get undisciplined in the zone, you let your eyes take you away from your area, and then somebody plants away. I mean, because that wasn't a real route. It's not like he ran his route and beat somebody one-on-one.
Right.
He was covered initially, scrambled to off, and that's
go to the open spot,
and you just have a wide receiver. You just playing
getting his vision,
football,
getting his vision. Yep.
And so the first thing that really caused that is the fact that they could not keep him contained in that pocket. Right. When you have a young quarterback that is susceptible to make mistakes, they're going to make those mistakes from within the pocket. Once you start getting them outside, you realize there's a run-pass option, especially because it was his athleticism. You start to see things a little bit differently as far as how he's doing it. So, and then the coverage changes, and you have to cover longer.
Is that part of the reason they didn't bring any pressure? They just wanted to keep him in the pocket?
Right. I mean, that's a part of it being because you saw him blitz some. You saw him run a few stunts as far as defensive line, which I don't like. I don't like three-man stunts
right.
with a three-man defensive line. I do not like it. That's because there's too many instances, especially against a quarterback, to start opening up lanes that they can just pick and choose to hit.
Right. Yes, their shortest touchdown was 10 yards in overtime, starting at the 25-yard line. I mean, I'm sorry, but we make them work for it, fellas. Gotta make them work for it. I mean, everything was over 15-yard touchdowns.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about this kind of before the break too. I think you start seeing the separation in A&M's whole purpose is to create one-on-one situations where they can get their athletes in space. And I say 9 times out of 10, my guy's gonna be better than your guy.
Right.
And you could see that they were a step faster in certain positions, especially at the skill position. You can see where they maybe just been a little bit longer, maybe been able to just get to it, reach it at the highest point at certain cases, you know. But again, if you take away those handful of big plays, it's not that bad of a defensive performance. But it's just those big plays either were scoring or they led directly to scores, and that's you got to know that but that's what the conservative play calling is supposed to prevent. It's supposed to keep them in front of you, keep them in front of you, make a tackle. Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
It's just, we got to the point where we're trying to keep it in front of us so much that it's just we're keeping in front of them 20 and 30 yards in front of us, and you still get those instances where you get beat. So
I asked Petty this 2 weeks ago. Can Greenlaw keep up his performance through the season with what he's doing right now?
What I mean, I think he can.
Can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field, basically?
Yeah, I think he can. I'm led to believe he can. It's just the fact he's a tackling machine, but he's not a tackle for loss machine. He's not a disruptor. He's an executor that does a great job of playing in space and going sideline to sideline. But it's just he's not. It's not one of those cases where he's going to go out there and make a big blow up play. I mean, he almost had an interception. I really wish he could have kind of got
right. He did.
That'd have been nice, but he's a solid tackler. Probably arguably the best tackler we have on our defense. But I don't think you look to him as the guy that is going to go out there and make that big disruptive play because they don't play him in that manner. They don't play him. I mean, he's kind of coached to keep it in front of him. Let your big guys soak up those guards, and then you skate off on the sideline. But he's not a downhill linebacker though. He's a side-to-side linebacker.
So the last thing on the defense, so kind of more of the same, I guess you can say, against A&M with a lot of big plays. But what do you guys want to see going forward from the defense? To your guys' point, I thought they were pretty conservative. I thought going to a 3-4, we'd see a little bit more blitzing, a little bit more, a different scheme, a little bit more exotic looks, but really haven't seen that in the first 3 games. So, I mean, what would you guys like to see going forward?
Defensively, so I'd like to see, yes, you're a 3-4, but can you be multiple for the situation, right? In those short yardage situations, can you move to a bear type front or
5-2?
And a bear is
it's like a 5-2. It's like a
5-2.
6-1.
Was it like 4-6 or something like that? Is what a bear is?
No, a bear. Well, it depends.
Something weird. 4-5.
Can you get 5 big guys with their hands on them? Now, problem is that you have substitution issues, especially playing up tempo teams. It's against the rules if they don't sub.
Right.
Chance for you to sub.
Yeah.
Right, so, but still, can you be situational with your front as far as that's concerned?
Right.
I think you need to be more creative more tactical on how you attack in the passing. I think you have to get to the point where you do take some chances though, right? And I think as far as the back end is concerned, losing arguably your best cover corner, the injury, early in the season, and you replace him with a freshman, you got to figure that's going to have some impact. And I think it did. It was costly with a couple of misreads and coverage, and then pass interference, things like that. Being more crafty on how you make this. I mean, I think Curl's going to be a solid. He's going to be solid.
Do you think
he looked good?
Do you call that? Do you think that was a good call on Curl?
Well, he had a handful of jerseys, and the referee's right there.
Yeah.
Now, did it have an impact on him actually catching that pass? I don't think so. But you only give him a choice. I mean, that's what you see is what you get. So
right.
But can you be more situational as far as calling those fronts are concerned, and can you create some one-on-one matchups for your playmakers? Can you get a game one-on-one on a guard?
Yeah.
Can you get Randy Ramsey one-on-one with a time? And have it to the point where there's some confusion. I still don't believe that we're confusing offenses with what we're doing. I think they see us and then they block us, and that's sometimes we'll get off and sometimes we won't.
Is there maybe for a game? Because when I look at the game, it's going to be hard for me to look at it from a defensive perspective. I'm offense. And I've been in offenses where you say, hey, he may be the best down lineman. Let's run at him to minimize what he can do, and let's run away from him. Do you think there's a chance of him moving maybe to be more in the middle so he can be more left-right than just saying from one side, or is it better to keep him on the side that he's on?
And I think that would be a good idea to kind of get him in a position to where he can.
I just want to see him moved around.
But I don't think
So you're saying he may line up left, right,
I just
middle,
want him moved around. I don't care where it is.
just move him.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Just set up matchups that he can
because-
succeed in.
But can he grab the defense like that?
Because what happens is that if you move him, so two things. You move him to a different spot. One, you take whoever it is you consider to be your best player.
You got to move him.
Position,
Yeah.
Right.
And then behind him, there's not a lot of confidence on what more you get out of that. So